What's going on, YouTube world? Today we're going to be doing a follow-up video to a video I did a few weeks ago that was talking about the best way to list your items. Buy it now or auction. And I'm going to put a link to that video at the end of this video. In this video, I'm going to show you some examples and let you know why I choose and highly recommend that you use buy it now on over 95% of the items that you list. Let's get into it.
Tell us a little about yourself.
My name is Jason, aka Mr. Llama, the not-so-better half of the Lazy Llamas, which is the eBay store that I run with my wife, Mrs. Llama. My wife and I, we own a gym. We've owned the gym for almost 9 years, and that's actually where my studio is. And it's not soundproof, and it's in the middle of the day, so you might hear a weight slam.
Lifting our huge triangular iron weights.
Or some kind of ruckus in the background, and I do apologize for that. But we did start selling on eBay about 3 years ago. It is our part-time business, and we grew our business from zero to over $10,000 a month in sales in less than 2 years. Now let's look at some examples. The first one we're going to look at is a game I recently listed called Sonic Rider Zero Gravity. It's just the disc, so I had listed it as disc only, so that's what we're going to be looking at. And as you can see, it has sold comps in the buy it now category of $10 to $15. I listed mine for $12 free shipping. Now, when we switch our filter settings and look at just the auction listings that sold, fortunately, you're just going to see that one seller has recently made this mistake and listed this item for auction. And as you can see, it sold for well below market value. And this is the risk you run when you choose auction over buy it now for most items. The next item we're going to check out is a game called Mario Party 8, also for Nintendo Wii. This is also a game that I recently listed, and as you can see, the sold comps and buy it now are averaging about $30 when you add in shipping. That's what I listed mine for. I actually listed mine for $35 free shipping, and it just recently sold. It sold within a day after me listing it. This is a very hot game. It sells very quickly, so it sold for full price of $35 free shipping. Now, scrolling through these sold comps and buy it now, that's what you're going to see the market value for this game is. $30, $35. That's what you're going to get for it. You switch over to the auction settings, you're going to see that for the most part, people are getting market value for this game, even in auction. But I want you to notice that you're not going to see a single one of these above that. That is definitely something that you need to take note of. All of these are at market value or below. And I can looking through these, I even see a few that are selling for $25, which is below market value. Again, the risk you run when you list it as an auction instead of a buy it now. Now, next, we're going to look at another Wii game. As you can tell, I got in a lot of Wii inventory here lately. This is a game that's very popular. It's Wii Sports Resort. It's another game that when you list it, it sells very quickly. Now, if you're going to go through just like before, you're going to look at your sold comps in the buy it now category, and you're going to see that this game sells for about an average of $30. That's its market value. This game is going to sell from anywhere as an average of like $30, and that's what you're going to get for it. Now we're going to switch over to sold comps in the auction category, and immediately you're going to see the first two. One sold for almost $10 below market value, and the next one is like $8 below market value. And I see this all the time when I'm doing comps, and I don't understand why buyers do this. Well, I kind of do understand how this happens, and we'll get into that a little bit later in the video. But this is the risk you run of running an auction on an item with a market value, is that you're not going to get market value in the auction.
I see what you're saying.
Now, the fourth item we're going to look at is the actual Wii U console itself. This is a console with cords. I listed one of these recently, and I listed mine for $150 with free shipping, because when you go through these sold comps, you're going to see that's about the average market value for this item is about $150. So that's what you do. That's how you're going to price your items. You're going to go through sold comps, get you an average, and find you a competitive way to list yours that's going to help it sell. So you don't want to undercut yourself. You want a fair market value price for your listing. So I'm going to list mine. Well, I did list mine at $149.88 with free shipping. And it will sell probably within a few days. Now we're going to go from our sold comps and buy it now, and we're going to look at sold comps in the auction. And immediately you see one that sold for way under market value. Now I'm going to be honest, the only issue with this listing is not that it was listed in auction. It's also got, looks like some bad pictures, and there are some other issues. The title's not that good. So there are other issues with this, but I guarantee you this sold for this low because it was listed as an auction. Now, I want you to keep in mind as we look through these sold comps, you want to make sure that you're doing one that's exactly like yours or as close to it. Now, there were some of these in there that had like accessories and games in there, and those, of course, are going to be a little bit more market value than 150. When you add in accessories and games, of course, the market value is going to increase. So we're going just console, gamepad, and cords as much as we can. And those are around 150. But if you look here on auction, there are 3 in a row on May 6th that all sold for less than market value. And one of them even had games with it, and it still sold for below market value for just the console. Again, this is the risk you run when you put it at an auction instead of a buy it now.
It's not worth the risk.
And lastly, just to change things up a little bit, we're going to look at another very popular category that eBay resellers sell in, and that is shoes. This is also an item that I recently listed. These are Merrell barefoot trail gloves. And if you look up the comps, they are around $50 is what they sell for. That's what I listed mine for. They sold within 2 days for full price of $50 with free shipping. And if you look through the sold comps, that's what they're selling at. Actually, my sold comp is actually in here somewhere. I think it sold on May 4th. I think it's there right there. That was my listing at $49.88 free shipping, and it sold within 2 days of me listing it. That was a fair market value, good competitive price for this item, and it sold quickly. And we're going to switch over to the auction sold comps for this item. And fortunately, again, there was just one seller that made a mistake with this exact shoe. And as you can see, it sold for like half of market value when you include shipping in. So it sold for about $25 when you add shipping into it, which is half of its market value. Now, what did all these items have in common? It's something that I mentioned a lot during this video. All of these items have a set current market value, and that is what they're going to sell for. The purpose of an auction is to create a bidding war for an item.
Bidding war.
Wow. Great.
That's going to drive the price up. I can't imagine any other reason to set an item for auction, especially if it's a high demand item that has a set market value. There's no reason for somebody to go bid on an item when there are dozens or even hundreds of them out there ready to just click a button and buy it now for the market price. Now, somebody might bid low on an auction that they see is getting ready to close because they think they might be able to get a good deal on it, which is why with all of those auctions, you never saw one that was sold for above market value. You saw some that sold for market value, but then we also saw quite a few that sold below market value. And I see this all the time, which is why I'm doing this video.
Well, you really care about this, huh?
Do not list everyday common items with a set market value for auction. You are only running the risk of getting less than market value. Do your research, find the item's market value, list it competitively as a buy it now listing, and it will sell. Now, why would sellers do this? And I have 3 reasons as to why they might do this. 1, they're just new sellers and they don't know any better. 2, they think of eBay as an auction site, because really when eBay started way back, I guess I'm going to say way back in the day to age myself.
You're so old.
eBay started as an auction site. That's kind of what they were known for. That's not the case anymore. eBay is much more like Amazon now than an auction site like it started. It's much more geared towards buy it now, like Amazon. 3, and why I think is the most prominent reason why I see this all the time, is because this is how eBay recommends items be listed. Now, they used to just flat out say it, and back when I made that last video a few weeks ago, they still said it. In the listing when you were creating it, it actually said when pricing the item that they recommend a 7-day auction. They don't do that anymore. Maybe it's because of the video I made. Who knows?
Very doubtful.
I doubt it, but for some reason it always said recommend listing as an auction. That's gone now, but the default setting when you're creating a listing is still set to auction. You have to manually switch it from auction to buy it now. So in a way, they are still recommending auctions for your listings,
It seems like the opposite of what we should be doing.
which you should absolutely switch that default setting from auction to buy it now on over 95% of the items you sell. There absolutely is a time to use auctions, and I went over that in that video that I'm going to put right up here that actually went over buy it now versus auction in detail. And it also talks about why I believe eBay recommends that you use auctions in your listings. So go check that out. And we're going to end the video there. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. If you liked it, just make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can see future videos. And if you don't know, God loves you, I love you, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
I'm a